Philippines.
Alright guys, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, perlawanan yang keempat. Onic Philippines menentang SRG. Adakah Onic Philippines akan menyamakan ataupun Selangor Giant akan menjadi tim yang pertama akan mara ke Grand Final? Sama-sama kita saksikan perlawanan di Land of Dawn.
For SRG OG, one win away.
Maknanya Skies kalau nak masuk, dia kena masuk hujung-hujung guys. Kalau dah masuk awal memang mati dulu ni.
We'll see how it goes as they decide to lock in the joy for their last pick, even up against this kind of lineup. But the question lies too in, could Onic PH pull off a successful Fredrin utility draft as well in this kind of situation?
Maknanya Skies kena bijak guna joy ni guys. Kunci kemenangan pun dekat dia juga sebenarnya. Dia kena farm laju.
That's a great question, Brig, and it really comes down to the players to answer it, because at this point the thought of glory, once again reliving the glory from the past of MSC 2024 lingers.
Tahu kalau dia pergi dekat Pokemon tu dia akan mati. Jadi dia curi resource jungle dia. Ambil hijau pun cukup. Satu-satu cukup guys.
So by statistics, Onic Philippines, they've gotten themselves a pretty good chance, but it's SRG.
Jangan lupa hashtag SRG dan bendera Malaysia guys. Saya tanda sokongan korang guys.
Right now, even in terms of the way they're able to outpace Onic PH overall.
Asal ada bunyi-bunyi pelik guys.
To be one of the teams who have been always that
flicker pada Innocent kalau dibazir kan kat sini.
When it comes to the rotations, and they forced out a flicker out of Innocent, but that's all that matters right now. Literally keeping him safe.
Ini Stormy pun kena freeze
up against Keller, who's been managing the lane pretty well. But looking at the emblems real quick. Okay, that's Stormy does seem like he does want to keep the pace going for Sekai's, and they just want to be the ones first to rotate out, and that's what they plan to do as they get control over the river for majority of
mid
the
kau kena freeze by.
Does sound very achievable for them, considering that they're on the Gatot Selena. Oh, but wait. Yeah, Keller, he looks mad.
Yeah, after what SRG did to them last
betul ni susah ni Skies nak kontes ni, sumpah. Buat benda lain ke Skies? Buat benda lain ke? Flicker pada Stormy. Kan nak objektif lain ke Skies? Lepaskan turtle pertama ni kan.
Which I feel is another question we have to look at later on. How are they gonna make use of this hero? But here comes the fight.
Itu final beat. Betul je dapat call King Kong. Skies down kan? Susah tu. Ram down. Draft ni susah tu SRG guys, sumpah. Kalau SRG menang game ni kan, agak pelik tu kan.
That's probably the first.
Ni kalau aku tinggal bodoh turtle ni bapak susah bodoh nak masuk.
Bit of struggle for Cram. He did flicker in, decided to go for the Dark Wave, surprise Onic PH, but they were ready. Even Kellera made it to the fight, interestingly, even without the SOD landing. So it was literally Onic PH just deciding to brute force their way through that fight. And I feel like that in essence
kena poking dengan si Cici ni.
This is a Fredrin and the Baksha. So you have enough tankiness to deal with everything and have mobility in terms of the balance.
Oi, kena ni. Kellera. Nice. Tapi betul tu SRG kalau menang game ni kan, ada baca-baca bela-bela dia tu. Hero dia orang susah ni.
Get chain CC, there's absolutely no way you get out of the abyssal arrow. Brusco's doing a pretty good job at stopping the way from crashing into the turret, but it will end up hitting. I think it should still be
Innocent okay ni.
Making it.
Innocent dapat snowball ni kunci kemenangan juga ni.
Alright, so he gets it, does a little bit of damage to Innocent, but he loses a lot of gold, and Innocent is
Jaja dorang bah, boleh.
That's not
harap Innocent je bah. Harap dia dapat stacking Sky Fisher baik ni. Snowball terus.
Did get a decent amount of energy shields down bottom, so if SRG get to allow Innocent to snowball again,
Innocent boleh carry ke? Boleh.
One out of the
kalau dapat ruang dia. Game ni tak kalah early kan.
Activate their entire lineup.
Gold tak jauh sangat, boleh guys.
So much pressure has been placed on the gold lane. They're literally making things so much more difficult for Kellera to dominate the way he usually dominates his lane. And now he has to rely on the SOD in order for him to catch up and get a bit of assists here and there. But SRG OG are the ones holding the turtle right now. What is going to be the plan?
Patah pada gatot. Betul King Kong dapat retry lagi. Skies mati ni. Team down. Kram flicker. Kelra masuk. Wah. Kram down.
And again, it's Onic
tak mati ya Skies.
who take the lead away from SRG and dive from Fritz.
Alamak.
This could be a solo assassination. One more basic attack. Oh, Sky's able to
Kurt down.
outplay as Kirk falls, trying to zone SRG away. Kelra, can he get this turret? That is going to be the turret falling, but
Boleh ni Kera ni. Allah hai innocent. Allah innocent. Bolehlah trade juga guys. Guling. Guling. Flicker. Sap. Baik duk Stormy. Baik duk Stormy.
Okay. Even when Onic PH
1200 gol lead dipegang oleh Onic sekarang ini.
split up, or I feel like they weren't even forced to split up. They decided themselves that they were going to split up and go after certain members of SRG OG all by themselves. And it's interesting to see that it still worked in the end for them. Super Prince did such a great job managing the members in the backlines, managing Sekai's even all by himself on this Joy. Fortunately, just lacked a single more basic attack to take him down. But even other than that, in the previous fight which happened in the Turtle Pit, Onic PH, with the amount of crowd control sustained that they have, were effective enough to isolate away a single member. And so even during that moment wherein we
Guys,
thought
mana
that
belum bantu
Kelra
saya subscribe dulu geng. Bantu saya guys.
used the SOD in a not so good spot, was actually able to still survive, reposition, and also
Jangan lupa
help in
hashtag
taking down
SRG
that
dan bendera
one
Malaysia guys. Let's go geng.
PH had. So they just have to keep this pace, they have to keep this
Patut
sequence going,
cari
so they're
fighter
able to
HP.
make use and
Xbox tadi
maximize
okey juga
their
guys.
lineup more,
XP.
because like
Cici
Onic
kan.
PH
Game pun still
essentially,
function.
maybe that's one of the
Dah ada
strengths
gatot.
of their lineup. Like they don't necessarily rely
Rally pun
on
jadi
each
momen
other
kemenangan
too
ni bah.
much.
Ya.
And they can do plenty of things even by themselves, even when no one's really paying attention to where the other members are.
Again, yeah, so individual plays. Kirk has gotten hit by 2 of those missile arrows. Shield Unity would have taught now, lock and cram down. Give it the dark break.
Oi, kalah lagi retry-nya. Bapak King Kong punya retry. Fear of Distraction. Sky's down. Yung down. Mati Kram. Susah duk draft ni kat diorang. Saya susah.
Of game 5, up and running.
Yep, they're still staying in this game. They do not want to hand over the win just like that. They've done it twice. They've won against SRG OG twice, even way back in M6, and they do not want to
retry dia guys,
allow
sumpah
that
guys.
revenge to come in anytime soon. So we did mention the entire idea about individual plays and Onic PH being good at that. But even when, or
Pak keras
especially
memang
when
keras lah,
you
boh.
let them play like this together and set up the tempo for themselves, it's also going to work well. Oh, Sekai's so close.
Chris from an angle, King Kong going to be caught under the turret there. By the abyssal arrow as well, but he's still able to survive somehow. Yums though won't be able to. Prince steals away.
Draft ni berat.
Selena
Saya berat.
dashes towards the arrow and doesn't get hit.
I mean, that's one of his signature heroes.
Ni bukan
so
berat dibuat-buat
in a way,
guys.
he
Memang
still
berat
needs
guys.
to use it. I think that was a
Last
surprise
pick.
in the draft too earlier.
Enjoy,
Like
eh.
he didn't, or they didn't necessarily
Ada
prioritize
Fred dah
the
keluar
Selena.
awal tu.
They saw the Selena and Prince was like, Coach, I want
Macam melawan hukum alam.
In any way I can.
in any way.
Geng, bantu saya subscribe dulu guys. Mana belum subscribe? Let's go guys.
Selena.
Ingat Selena lagi tak ada high ground ni guys.
The Granger. This was something he did way back too.
Keram
He
hero
got
dia
the
kena
Granger
counter
ult
lagi.
with the Valentina and used
Still
the Death
obvious.
Sonata. He got the Moskov ult
Agak pelik
game on the Valentina and just surprise everyone. So he's just capable of doing all these surprises on the Valentina. But oh wait, King Kong.
Oh, a taunt over to the back. Now the Retribution as well. Dodging away for the dark.
Mati
Break,
Kram.
the taunt of the shield unit, he locks him down, and Kelra finds a killing spree. Holy shield propped in up top. Prince again steals away the Death Sonata. 1-2. Are we gonna get a third shot? There you
Yes.
go.
Yes, the answer is yes. Super Prince just doesn't fail to surprise and entertain us whenever he gets his hands on the Valentina. And so he has, what, how many options? now? 'Cause
kalau
he
saja
isn't
ada main
even-
lagi pak balik terus.
He hasn't even
Game
been getting
kelima
played
pula
on
penentuan lah. Jadi
It's
dia.
been mostly the Death Sonata.
Obvious lah kena dengan Cici.
or
Iya tu,
that
pelik kan.
Selena from Stormy. Like maybe Sekai's could even be one of the best options if you would propose, but Super Prince,
Dua
the way
last
he's
pick ni
playing
patut
this Valentina is
di
just so
reconsider balik tu.
interesting. Now it's going to be a free objective going to the hands of Onic PA.
Salah percaturan ni. Serius.
This all happened in 9 minutes in the game. So once again, it's another case of being very efficient in using the Fredrin, as mentioned by our panelists earlier, the face of utility junglers.
Fredrin is him right now. Like the Baxia is kind of like, I think he's fallen off quite a bit. I think maybe because of the hot fix that changed his defenses. Yeah. He's now much more squishy. So even with the poisons, even with the damage reduction, you kind of have to rely on snowballing early to be the tank that you are. Fredrin on the other side, he relies on himself, yo. He's a Chad. He's a... Like, just like King Kong, he's a Sigma
Wah,
male.
ini
You know,
memang
he
the
just does his own thing,
best
sustains
5
over.
full series
And
untuk main ni.
they've done a good job at managing the waves up top as well. Kirk holding his own against Skies. This actually might be an electrifying beats used by Skies. He's going to continue to chase Kirk. The Skies, yeah, has to go all the way back to recall.
King Kong used his retribution earlier though, but it seems like they still have other ways to potentially set things up. Oh wait, nice Abyssal Arrow.
Yeah, but it's gonna
Mati,
an amazing disengage. Krang gonna be taken down there by King Kong. Walked up way too aggressively. Fridge steals the Death Sonata again. And now it's gonna be King Kong.
Mati, Tommy.
With a mega kill.
Skies mati juga.
Able to get it on Skies. And
Memang dia kena counter duk. Draft tu terakhir ni memang patut di consider duk kenapa dia draft gitu. GG guys. Rata tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Sangat tidak baik guys, serius. Wah, draft ni mematikan diri sendiri duk. Congratulations to Onic PH. Wah. Last game guys after this. Jangan lupa like, comment, share bagi pendapat korang. Dan yang paling penting jangan lupa subscribe guys. Let's go guys for our final game.